Bro, one thing I remember about YouTubers were like all the ones from like the Fortnite era, the 2016, 2015, like the OG YouTubers are gone, bro. They gone. I know a lot of people don't like PewDiePie, but PewDiePie retiring and moving to Japan and Markiplier's still going strong. But you know, just like all the other, like, I haven't heard anything about H2 Delirious or Vanos, bro. Or Vanos, whatever his name is. But I know for me, that whole Fortnite era was like peak, bro. We would see clips every day. Remember the whole, the TSM Daquan nigger thing, bro? I know y'all remember that, bro. I know it, bro. Oh! Anyways, we got the Fortnite streamer who abandoned 4 million followers. 4 million, that's more than Corey Kenshin, and Corey Kenshin do this every year. Actually, let's see. I wonder if he's gone, bro. I genuinely wonder if Corey Kenshin's gone. I genuinely wonder that. I haven't watched the video in a little minute because he just keeps leaving, you know? You never check it.
Daquan's rise to fame was extremely...
5 days ago. Okay, he's back. All right, yeah, he's still here. I'm gonna have to go through and watch all the videos. I don't know why, bro, but like when it comes to like Corey Kenshin, I'll wait for a few videos, bro. I'll wait to about like 4 or 5 videos. Because like I hate watching something and it's gone. Like I do the same thing with TV shows too. Like people trying to make me feel weird, but I'll tell people I'm not watching a show until it's finished or almost finished on this last season. Because I hate watching a season and you're gonna tell me I gotta wait a whole nother calendar year for a new season, nigga? No. Anyways, back to the original video. They're talking again.
fast, and he began streaming consistently in November 2017, but little did he know that he chose the perfect game at the perfect time, Fortnite Battle Royale. He'd start off with around 5 viewers, and only 1 week later, he'd already surged to a peak of 87 live viewers. Daquan was quickly attracting an audience due to his high level of skill on the game, but it wasn't just skill. Daquan also had a natural talent as an entertainer, and people were drawn into his hilarious personality. Things started moving even faster, and the following week, his live view account would skyrocket.
This is the era before clip farming, bro, where funny moments were genuine and not forced, bro. This is what we miss, bro. Just authentic fucking like content creators, bro. Everything's just so scripted or forced now.
Rocket to 500, and more fuel was added to the fire when Daquan would randomly end up in a squads lobby with the then popular streamer Dakotas. The two would have instant chemistry, and Dakotas took notice of how good Daquan was at the game and would get him invited to the first Fortnite Invitational competitive matches. And in these games, Daquan would live up to the hype and go on to win.
Does anyone remember the curve? There go the fire truck. A place burns down every fucking week. Every single video, there's a fucking fire truck. And you want to know the secret? Them motherfuckers aren't actually putting out a fire. They're turning on their sirens so they can get back to their station faster. I caught on to you. I caught on to you. Yeah. I caught on to you. I can hear shit. You know, I caught on to you. But anyways, like I was saying, when did the curve for Fortnite become like chill, fun, to like you had to practice building to be a competitor? Was it when Tfue came around? Was it 2018? Because early stages of Fortnite, niggas weren't really like prioritizing building. When did that shit start? Who made that shit popular?
In many of these private tournaments, and with the lobbies being full of huge streamers that Daquan was wiping out with ease, it wasn't long before he saw even more growth. And by the end of December, he now had 5 invitational wins, 700 wins in public games, and had peaked at around 3,000 live viewers. This was absolutely incredible if you consider the fact that just 45 days ago, Daquan was streaming to 10 people. It was now 2018, and he'd continued grinding, going live every day, and by early February, February, he would reach 10,000 live viewers, with his YouTube now seeing 10 million views in a month. On top of this, he would also sign to the pro esports org TSM. In March, he would then break the world record for the most kills in one game, and by April, he had solidified himself as one of the biggest streamers in the world, averaging 10,000 viewers every stream. Daquan would also collab with other huge streamers, and would move to LA to live in the now iconic TSM streamer house, alongside his roommates Hamlins and Myth, who were also some of the biggest streamers in the world at the time, with the three often collaborating together on and off stream, creating even more buzz around Daquan. And his growth was unstoppable, as by June 2018, Daquan would now peak at 150,000 live viewers. And when you consider he'd only been streaming for around 7 months at this point, this level of viewership was nothing other than jaw-dropping. And his YouTube channel would eventually peak in August 2018 with 68 million views, and Daquan seemed to be happier than ever. However, in this very month, Daquan would reveal details about his past and how he'd previously had serious struggles with his health and had been battling depression.
Yeah, so like I'm 20, I had a really high paying job. I was just having the time of my life, man. And then I got extremely sick. I was sick for 3.5 years. Very, very, very sick. I had to quit my job. I was literally just sitting in my bed. It was just severe nausea. At all times, it just felt like I was being stabbed in my stomach. And then 3 months went by, and then 6 months went by, and then a year went by. And that's when I really started getting depressed. And then on top of that, I had my first lung collapse. I was literally in the hospital for a month just for that. To this day, I still never knew what was wrong with me, and I still have those feelings sometimes in my stomach. I don't know, I just kind of like fight through it and ignore it as if it's not even there. My entire life was just ripped from me, you know? So I was super depressed, man. Like, it was really bad.
Daquan still felt he hadn't fully overcome the sickness. However, he would fight through and ignore the pain, and continued streaming consistently all throughout 2018, going live almost every day, consistently averaging 20 to 30,000 live viewers. 2018 would be an incredible success, and going into the new year, Daquan would set himself a New Year's goal of uploading daily content in 2019. However, that goal was far from met, and 2019 would prove to be a troubling year for Daquan. For the first few months of the year, he would stream a lot less than the year prior, and was often tweeting about his struggles with sickness. But things weren't all bad, as he was still fairly active, and his streams were still doing amazing, averaging 20,000 viewers despite Fortnite losing some popularity. However, by the end of April, it seemed his health problems were becoming much harder to manage, as the following month he would only go live 9 times, with Daquan tweeting, "The worst type of stomach problems are the ones where you don't know what the cause is, so you're just always in pain/nauseated and don't know how to make it go away. Hopefully we'll figure it out soon. I'm trying." And unfortunately, he wouldn't figure it out soon, with him not posting a single upload to YouTube or going live even once for the next 2 months. And after 2 months away, he would eventually tweet about how he's feeling better and should be returning very soon. He stayed true to his word and had his return stream on the 10th of August 2019, going live to a peak view account of 80,000, showing just how many people had missed him. This was accompanied by a return to YouTube with a video titled, "Where Have I Been?", giving his audience an insight into his life and why he left.
Yo, what's good, everybody? I miss y'all, man. I miss everything. During my whole time grinding, I was dealing with all those health issues. Finding out what was wrong with me was a top priority this year, and that was the reason for my original break. And having all that said, things continued to go downhill. Exy, she ended up eating at a restaurant and catching E. coli. On top of that, she had a really bad reaction to the
and he swag. Nah, it's 2014 swagger right there, bro.
Antibiotics that she was on. Balancing all of this on top of streaming a game that I started to find very unfun and more of a chore to play, it really sucked. Literally all the things I blocked out, all the things I ignored, all the stress I swept under the rug, it just caught up to me, you know? I just missed the feeling of waking up ready to play a game that I fell in love with, and I haven't had that feeling in a very long time. I started to dislike Fortnite once I started playing pro. It was just a snooze fest. I've gone through so much, but I'll be alright. I'm gonna be back super consistent on everything soon enough. I miss you guys, man.
Damn.
Following this video, Daquan's girlfriend's health condition would get worse, and this seemed to impact his stream schedule, with him being very inconsistent throughout August. Daquan would then have a small run of consistency before disappearing again in the middle of November, and this was followed by a tweet where he would write about how bad his girlfriend's health had become and how it was destroying his mental state. During his hiatus, Daquan would post a tweet longer in December 2019, writing about how it hasn't been his year, and in 2020, he would be back. But that didn't turn out to be true. And despite saying he'd be in the full swing of things by January, he wouldn't go live or upload a single video until 26th of February 2020, almost a quarter of the way throughout the year. And if you thought that disappearance was bad, what follows is much worse. And Daquan would go live just twice more before completely disappearing for the whole of 2020. Not to mention, this was during the peak of the coronavirus, where he would have been likely stuck inside, with presumably not much to do, and streamers were now getting more views than ever, with Twitch seeing massive growth all around.
Fuck.
But with no tweets.
Fuck, why did I have to be in high school during 2020? It was so much easier to blow up during 2020, bro. Most people around today blew up during 2020. If we being iShow Speed 2020, Kaisnat 2020, Phantom 2020, Dude 2020, Flight Reacts, he's been around, but he got even bigger during 2020. I know y'all remember June Flight, bro. That whole, we was all waiting for Flight. We all thought that when the clock struck 12 and June 1st came, Flight was on the turn into LeBron James. So many niggas blew up in 2020, but I had to be in high school playing football, and I didn't even go D1. Could have been in a penthouse right now, a mansion, bro. But I had to be in high school doing algebra and shit.
No streams and no YouTube videos following March 2020. People were in the dark of where Daquan was, and it wasn't until November 2020, after 8 months, his fans would get any kind of answer, with a tweet writing how he felt better than he had in years. Many expected this to be his return, but little did his fans know at the time, Daquan was in fact very far from returning. December 2020, he was ghost. January, February, March of 2021. Nothing. Daquan had been gone so long, YouTubers began making video essays on his disappearance, with multiple viral videos. Daquan's fans had made it very clear that they wanted him back, with thousands of comments showing their support for him. However, Daquan would not return despite this outpouring of love, and was nowhere to be seen all the way until August 2021, when he would finally show he was still alive, with a mysterious tweet of the emoji eyes. And if you thought that after almost 2 years of inactivity, Daquan would be irrelevant, you'd be very wrong. People were more hungry for his content than ever, and it showed, with this tweet getting over 300,000 likes, and a huge outpour of massive creators showing their excitement. Something big was definitely coming, and this was followed by posters. Showed, with this tweet getting over 300,000 likes, and a huge outpour of massive creators showing their excitement. Something big was definitely coming, and this was followed by posters and billboards showing up all around LA, with Daquan and his former TSM teammate Hamlin's, with quotes such as, "Have you seen these streamers?" and "Find the streamers." This was followed up 2 days later by the announcement that Daquan had joined NRG alongside Hamlin's and 7 other friends to make a content house called the NRG Foom House. A YouTube channel was created for the group, with the first video titled Revealing Daquan and Hamlin's New Content House, which quickly gained 3 million views and would show Daquan in his new $7 million content house. And a couple weeks later, Daquan would stream for the first time in a year and a half, seeing a peak view count of 90,000 live watching. But as is often the case with creators, if they have disappeared before and are notoriously inconsistent, they will often do the same in the future. And well, that turned out to be the case for Daquan. Despite huge money invested by the org, huge numbers pulled in new content, and Daquan proving he can still stream to a massive audience on Twitch, after just 2 months of uploads to the channel, the NRG Foom House would stop uploading, and it was over already. Daquan would also have his last stream of 2021 in the same month, and his last tweet before disappearing through November and December. This was so confusing. He just had this massive hyped return, and now he was already gone. gone? What was going on? Well, viewers would eventually get answers in January of 2022, with Daquan tweeting, "Alright, time to talk about everything," and going live on his Twitch. This was accompanied by a video to his YouTube addressing everything. In the video, he explains all the problems with the Foom house, with the main issue being that apparently the internet was absolutely terrible, and Daquan's room had no hot water or heating. Whilst his fans were showing support in the YouTube comments, many people on Reddit were not impressed by this video, with comments such as, "Zero credibility of this guy, came back for a paycheck, he just used his fans, streams and then disappears again. My favorite part was him complaining about how he had to sleep in the movie room. I hope I never experience cold so bad in a bedroom of my mansion that I have to sleep in the movie room. If only he had enough money to buy an electric heater." Following this, he would tweet about how his nightmare was over. I want to mention how he was in the process of moving back to Vegas and couldn't wait to do IRL content. By February the 7th, he'd now moved in and had internet, but in his return stream, things were very different. He'd clearly grown very tired of Fortnite. After all, the game was completely different now to how it was in its peak 4 years ago. And Daquan would decide to stream a game other than Fortnite, seeing him play Lost Ark. And let's just say this change in content, accompanied by his
always said, like, I would hate to be known for like one thing, bro. Like, that's why I'd be like, content creators who want to stay around, but they only do one type of thing, like a gameplay channel, only playing Madden, only playing 2K, only playing COD. Only being good at only one thing, bro, can get so boring, bro. You gotta switch it up from time to time.
Extreme levels of inconsistency over the last 3 years turned out to not go well together, and he'd see an average of 3,700 viewers, all whilst losing 500 followers. But then 2 days later, he would jump back on Fortnite, averaging 14,000 viewers and gaining 3,000 new followers, showing that if he just kept playing Fortnite, he'd still be one of the biggest streamers in the world. But despite the successful stream, Daquan would never go live ever again following this stream, and since this moment, he hasn't gone live in over 3.5 years, with not a single explanation of where he has been. No tweets, no videos, no Instagram posts, no streams, leaving his audience completely in the dark. Throughout 2022 and 2023, fans would wait and hope for a return, or even just a tweet from Daquan to explain where he'd gone and if he was okay, but that would never come. However, there was an important development in November 2023, with the announcement of Fortnite OG being released, which would see the game revert back to its old original map, loophole and mechanics. This sparked a lot of hype around old Fortnite streamers who had reached huge viewership back in the early days of Fortnite. With fans wanting a hit of nostalgia, players like Myth, Tfue and Ninja were sure to see.
I'm actually surprised Fortnite lasted as long as this did. Like, really, like, if we really think about it, 2 more years, basically one, since it's the end of 2025. Fortnite will be approaching 10 years, bro. There's only one other game that's had a really long fan, that's Minecraft. There is no other game other than Minecraft and Fortnite where that single game, I'm not talking about COD, bro. They make a new COD every year. Not talking about Assassin's Creed. Not talking about GTA, because people move on from the GTAs. Only COD and Fortnite, bro. Minecraft's understandable. It's kind of like, there's a lot to do in Minecraft. It's like a survival arcade thing, but if it was easy, everybody would do it. These two are like the like these niggas, like LeBron, like these Fortnite and Minecraft got LeBron longevity, bro. Still. I never would have thought Fortnite would still been a thing in 2025. Same year as Black Ops 2, bro. Never would have thought this shit would still been around.